What's going on, guys? JPB Duel here. Hope you guys are enjoying your Wednesday. And for today's matchup, we have an Adventures Pranks versus an Adventures Good Stuff, with my opponent playing Adventures Good Stuff going first. Now, when I say my opponent's playing Adventures Good Stuff, keep in mind this is a DC match, meaning you cannot see your opponent's deck profile. So he could be playing something else besides the Adventures Good Stuff, but with the cards he had tagged in, this card that my opponent set down was Skill Drain, and he was running Kaiju as well. Now, usually you don't run Skill Drain in Adventures Good Stuff, but again, he could have tagged it in, so I'm just gonna say he's playing Adventures Good Stuff at this point. My opponent sets it down, passes his turn. Now, right here, I draw into a Dark Ruler no more. I had two different plays I could have made. Since my opponent just goes into DPE, sets down a card, passes his turn, that lets me know that maybe he's pretty bricked, or maybe he has a bunch of hand traps in his hand. Now, I had a crossout in my hand, meaning I'm safe from one hand trap, plus I had instant fusion, meaning even if my opponent nibs me, I could push past the nib easily, get my full butler combo afterwards. Or I could assume my opponent to not have any hand traps or only have one hand trap, and I could go for the OTK this turn itself. OTK being you go into your butler combo, you use instant fusion, pull out two cards from the graveyard onto the field, you go into access code, and you go into Predator Plan, put butler that way, and you will be having 8,300 damage on the field that turn itself. I even have the right in my hand to go into a token and put the Griffin on the field to use as a material later on if I so chose to do so. So pretty much guaranteed OTK, that is the greedy play. The safe play being, I assume my opponent has two or more hand traps in his hand, so I Dark Ruler no more my opponent's board. That way he cannot activate DPE to pop a card on my side. And basically, if you pop Dark Ruler no more, your opponent does not take damage that turn itself. No effect damage, no straight damage. Meaning, you cannot activate Lamb-Seas on your opponent. You can activate it, but it will not go through since your opponent is immune to any effect damage as well. So you will not be able to special out a card off of the Lamb-Seas activation. Keep that in mind. Really important to remember that if you're running Dark Ruler no more as a prank hits player. So that was the safe play. Use the Dark Ruler, go into my full combo, and not lethal my opponent this turn. But where's the fun in that? So I decided to make the greedy play, which was going into my full combo to OTK my opponent that turn itself. Now, once I activate my right, my opponent shows me he has hand traps in his hand, the first one being Maxi. Obviously, we cross out, designate the Maxi. Don't want to deal with that, otherwise my opponent will be drawing a ton of cards, or it just stops my combo completely. We go into a token. Token puts the Faithful Adventurer on the field. Before I even try to activate it, my opponent just activates DPE, pops that card. I'm okay with that. This allows me to go into my Prankets combo. It's still a guaranteed lethal. Sadly, my opponent had an Ash Blossom in his hand. So the greedy play that I did of trying to go for the OTK and not go for the safe play, which was the Dark Ruler no more play, instantly ended up punishing me. So now I'm stuck with just having Doodle-Doo on the field, and I was hoping maybe I could just go into my Doodle-Doo with the instant fusion, go into Weather Washer, and then go into Link 2 of my Doodle-Doo, whack my opponent in the face for 4k, and then activate Doodle-Doo's tribute effect to get my cards back in my hand and deal with it later. Sadly, the card my opponent had in his hand at the end was a Griffin Rider. Now, Griffin Rider is at 2.8k defense. That means I even miss out on the whack for 4k in my opponent's face, which really sucked. And since this deck list does not run a DPE, I cannot go into DPE using these two cards, which sucks even more. But that's still okay. It's not like we lost the game right here, right now. So I go into main phase 2, activate Doodle-Doo, target the two cards in the graveyard, one card being the combo starter card, add it to my hand, so that way in the next turn at least I have a combo starter card in my hand. And if my opponent cannot kill me next turn, I still have the Dark Ruler no more to negate his whole field, go into my combo afterwards. So my only hope was that. And I did not put the pranks on the field, because I only had two Prankets cards in the graveyard, so no point putting the pranks on the field just for it to get popped. My opponent draws into a Kaiju, which he uses the Dasher to special on the field. Now, again, This is another reminder, maybe he was not playing Adventure's Good Stuff. Yes, Adventure's Good Stuff can run all this tech, but I was pretty sure he was not playing Adventure's Good Stuff at this point. Then he goes into his Celestial's draw. Draws 2 cards, but goes into battle phase anyways. I'm assuming he did not draw into his combo starter card, or at this point maybe he was just playing what he was playing. Wax being the phase puts me down at 1.8k life points, ends his turn. He does not even set down any cards whatsoever. My guy had 2 cards in his hand, so again I'm assuming maybe he had hand traps. Thankfully, I drew into another crossout designator, so that means I could use the crossout again to negate one of the hand traps that he may or may not throw at me when I go into my combo. Now to go into our combo, obviously we have to negate the whole field first with the Dark Ruler No More's effect. So we do just that, then go into our combo by normaling out the Dropsies. Now when I was playing the game and I was doing this combo, my opponent's side of the field did get highlighted over and over, which I assumed was probably just the DPE and hoped that he did not have any hand traps in his hand. So we go about into our combo. I add the Panda in my hand, discard a copy of Place. So the Place copy that I get back using the Doodle-Doo's Tribute will serve as my banished fodder. As I told you guys previously in the video, if you activate your Dark Ruler No More, that turn you cannot put the Lamseys on the field. You can, but you can't activate the Lamseys effect in the graveyard. So you guys saw me go through my combo, put the copy of Roxy's, and because I can't activate Lamseys and put a copy of a monster on the field by its activation, since my opponent is immune to any effect or direct damage, I had to put Roxy's, and I had to get a banished fodder in my hand. I cannot banish this, or this. I have to banish this. So first of all, I activate Pranket's Place, search for another copy of Roxy's, which will serve as my banished fodder when I do activate the Roxy's in the graveyard. Now keep in mind, this does not mean that you don't get full combo. You still get full Butler combo, it's just that you can't activate Lamseys. You just put Lamseys on the field at the end of the combo. So right here, I put a copy of Lamseys on the field and that's it. So instead of Fansies, you put Lamseys. Yes, it has only 500 defense, but it still acts as a piece or a gateway to go into your Butler combo anyways. You are still good. So Dark Ruling your opponent does not mean you can't go into full Butler combo. It's still a full Butler combo. Keep that in mind. We do that. I go into battle phase, kill off the Griffin, set down 2 cards, end my turn, activate Pranks, recycle 3, and we draw into a card which turns out to be Dracoback. Now, another important thing. Usually, and when I say usually, I mean 90% of the times, drawing into Dracoback is like one of the worst cards you can draw into. It basically serves as a garnet in your hand. But in certain situations, which you guys will see in this video when I start playing it, it is not a bad draw. It's actually an extremely good draw. Now opponent's draw phase, he chainlink one's DPE, to which I chainlink my Bow Wow and get my 2 cards I need for the Butler combo in my hand. This was a make or break moment. My opponent had a 50% chance to guess the right card and kill off my Pandemonium. Pandemonium can only be activated during main phase. It cannot be activated during draw phase, during standby phase, or during battle phase. Keep that effect in mind if you ever play Prank Kids. If he gets the right card with the DPE pop, that means our Butler combo is gone. That means I cannot do much afterwards. I'll probably end up dying anyways. Let's see how it goes. We get the resolution on the Bow Wow, get the cards we need for the Butler combo into our hand, and my opponent picks the wrong card. He ends up popping my Crossout Designator over my Prank Kids Pandemonium. This means I can go into my Butler. Now also another thing you guys have to note, people nowadays have been playing evenly matched a lot. So that is the reason why before my opponent went into battle phase, I did not pop my Pandemonium. I did not want to get evenly matched because he could just bump the Godarla into my Butler and then evenly matched me, making me banish every card on the field aside from one face down. I would be wasting so many of my resources. And this battle phase does not affect us. If he kills off the Lamses on the field, that's okay with us. Once he goes into main phase 2, I could just use my Pandemonium at that point and then go into my Butler, securing me from the threat of the evenly matched. So it goes into battle phase, kills off my Lamses, then goes into main phase 2. When he tries to end his turn at this point, this is when you pop Pandemonium and go into Butler. Put my Butler on the field, we get all the graveyard activations, and as you guys know, I am a lover of Totally Awesome, so with the graveyard activations, we get the cards we need for the Totally Awesome on the field. And this Butler coming in face-up attack does not matter either, because the battle phase is over. Even if he wants to Forbidden Droplet us, it doesn't matter. It's going to negate Butler's pop this turn, but it's going to be restored on my turn. So we get 2 Dropsies on the field, his DPE comes back, and my opponent, I'm not going to say it's a misplay, because what I could have done is once he pops his DPE in standby phase and tries to pop my Butler or my Dropsies, I could have just popped my Butler, popped his whole field. That way I get Totally Awesome on the field, or I get literal OTK that turn itself with the cards I had on the field. So it's still technically, I would say, a misplay, because if he did not pop his DPE to pop with Dropsies on the field this turn or on standby phase right now, that means I get Totally Awesome on the field and his DPE becomes worthless. So we go into the Toad, and then I start going into my combo. And remember when I said the 10% of the time when the Draco back in your hand is good, it's right here, right now. I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do. We're going to go into Doodle-Doo, and Doodle-Doo is going to search us for a Pandemonium. The Pandemonium is a Prank Kids card. So what you can do with the pranks, you could discard the Pandemonium, get yourself a token. We're going to do that combo anyways because we're going towards the access code combo, and access code means it's a lethal this turn itself. The token that you get with the Prank Kids pranks is a non-effect monster. So that means you can attach the Draco back to it. Draco back active bounce the DPE. So my opponent has to activate DPE at this point or his DPE is gone. This means we could Totally Awesome the DPE, and since DPE is a non-targeted destruction, it stays on the field before resolution. That means Totally Awesome negates, destroys, and since it destroyed the card, it fulfilled the condition for yoinking the card as well. So we yoink the DPE as well. Then I activate the Totally Awesome effect in the graveyard and get myself a copy of Dropsies. And before I normaled out my Dropsies, I had not used up my normal summon. This means I still have Butler plus access code on the field. We use the token plus the Doodle-Doo, go into our Nightmare, activate Nightmare to bounce the Kaiju, and this prompts a surrender from my opponent. That's going to be the end of the game, guys. If you guys do enjoy this kind of videos, please consider hitting a like button, subbing to my channel for more daily prank and video uploads, and if you guys are interested in the live version of all of this, I do live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbduel. Link along with my schedule and a link to my Discord will be in the video description itself for you guys to check out. This is JPBDuel signing out for today. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace!